Hello, good morning everyone. I am K. Narsimurthy. I am presently working as an assistant professor in Government First Grade Women's College, Tumkur. The subject which I am teaching is physics, and this is the ninth video which I am presenting for the second semester students of Tumkur University. So I am still in the first unit. I have covered one small chapter, that is vectors, and I took up a second chapter in the first unit, that is electrostatics. So in the electrostatic, today I am going to derive a very important derivation, that is the potential due to a charged sphere. Okay, I am going to find a potential at some point P due to a charged sphere. So I am discussing the two cases here. One, I am going to find the potential inside a charged sphere. Another, I am going to find the potential outside the charged sphere. Okay, these are the two cases which I am discussing regarding the charged sphere. Okay, let's get started. Yeah, students, I have been telling you that once you have to start a derivation, you should have a relevant explanation of the figure. So in the valuation, we keep some marks for the explanation and some marks for the figure as well. So if it is an 8 marks derivation, we'll keep 1 marks for explanation and 1 marks for the figure. So that is why, so whatever the quantities which you are introducing here, you have to discuss in the explanation. Fine. Now, very first I am going to find a potential outside a charged sphere. Now I have considered a charged sphere which is of radius r. Okay, you can say it is a conducting sphere of radius capital letter R. So I have written a sphere over there, and the radius of that sphere is capital R, mentioned very clearly in the figure. Now this sphere will have a charge Q. Charge Q is the charge on the sphere. Now this charge is uniformly distributed over its surface. If I take a sphere, the charge is uniformly distributed over its surface. Fine. So if I have to go for a charge density, surface charge density, which I am calling it by a symbol sigma. Sigma is equal to Q by area, Q by surface area. Okay. Surface charge density is charge per unit area. So if Q is the charge which is present in an area of a sphere having radius capital letter R, then sigma is equal to Q divided by its surface area, which is 4 pi r square. So surface charge density is charge divided by surface area, which is 4 pi r square. Okay. Now I have mentioned the surface charge density, which is sigma, which is equal to Q by 4 pi r square. Now I still have to declare so many things here. Let us consider a point P which is at a distance of R from the center of the sphere. I am considering a point P outside a sphere because my case is outside the sphere. So therefore I am considering a point P outside a sphere which is at a distance of R from the center of the sphere. This R is a small letter r which is mentioned in the diagram. O is the center of the sphere and P is the point where I have considered. Right now, the point P which I have considered is at a distance of x from the sphere. If I have to take from the surface of the sphere, the distance of point P from the surface of the sphere is x. X is the distance from surface and R is the distance from center of the sphere. Right. After that, I am considering one annular ring. I am considering annular ring ABCD in that sphere, in that charged sphere of radius capital R. I am considering an annular ring ABCD. Right, I'll move further. So what I have considered? I have considered annular ring ABCD. Now let me look at the area of that annular ring. You know it's an annular ring. The ring you play outside, the ring you play in a playground, it is that shape. It is an annular ring. What could be the area of the annular ring? Ring has a circumference. It is an halo inside. It has only circumference. The circumference of that is 2 pi r. We know the formula. Into it has some thickness. If you want to go for an area, you should take this thickness into consideration. So thickness of the annular ring you have to multiply with the circumference, that will gives you the area. Okay, so circumference into thickness will gives us the area of the annular ring. What is the circumference? Okay, fine, it is 2 pi. What is the radius of the annular ring? It is an annular ring ABCD. Okay, so radius is AE. AE is the radius. If I have to express in a capital R, if you take a sine theta, it is opposite side divided by hypotenuse, AE divided by R. So AE is equal to R sine theta. So radius of the annular ring is R sine theta, capital R sine theta. Alright. So 2 pi into radius of the annular ring is R sine theta into thickness. What is the thickness of that? Thickness of the annular ring is, if you take, it is arc. Thickness is a kind of arc of a circle, which is radius into angle subtended. So that small arc can subtend an angle of d theta. So it is capital R, which is radius of the sphere, into this small angle theta. So it is R into d theta will gives us the thickness of the annular ring, right? So therefore it is 2 pi, radius is R sine theta, into thickness is R into d theta, which is arc of a circle. Now it is 2 pi r square sine theta d theta is what the area of the annular ring. Okay, so I got the area of the annular ring. So after getting the area, I am going to find the charge which is present in the annular ring. Of course, it is a very small charge compared to a whole sphere. You can have a only small charge on the annular ring, and that I am representing by delta Q. Delta Q is a very small charge present on the annular ring, which is equal to area into surface charge density. Area of the annular ring into surface charge density will give us the charge on the annular ring. Okay, it's a simple multiplication. Now how can you take that as a charge on the annular ring? It is just like, so 1 kg of sugar is 40 rupees. What is the value of 10 kg of sugar? It is obviously 10 into 40. Per unit area, the charge is sigma. Per unit area, charge is sigma. Now, what is the charge on the annular ring of area 2 pi r square sine theta d theta? It has to be multiplication of that. So it is 2 pi r square sine theta d theta, which is area of the annular ring, multiplied by the charge per unit area sigma, will gives us a total charge on the annular ring, which is a very small charge, so it is represented as delta Q. So now I am going to substitute sigma here. Sigma, which I have already defined as charge, surface charge density, is charge per area Q by 4 pi r square. So that I am substituting here. So it is Q by 4 pi r square. There are some quantities which are going to cancel here. So 2 pi r square will get cancelled. So I have left with a 2 in the denominator. So it is Q sine theta divided by 2. Of course, there is a d theta multiplied with that. So half Q sine theta d theta is what the charge which is present on the annular ring, which I have considered ABCD. Okay, potential at any point P at a distance of r from the center of the sphere and a distance of x from the ring is given by. Now I am going to find a potential at the point P. After finding the charge, it is easy for me to go for a potential formula. Potential V is equal to, I am calling it as delta V again. Delta V is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, which is Q by R. So Q here is delta Q. and r here is x, because I am considering an annular ring. So for that annular ring, I am finding a potential at point P due to the charge on the annular ring which I have considered. Okay, so therefore you have to take the charge on the annular ring only in the equation. So charge on the annular ring is delta Q, and the distance of annular ring from the point of consideration is x. So be careful, you cannot take Q or you cannot take R here, because I am finding the potential due to the charge on the annular ring, potential at the point P due to the annular ring. After that, I'll extend this case to a whole charged sphere of radius r. First I will find the potential due to annular ring, and then I'll extend this case to a whole sphere, charged sphere. Now I'll substitute for delta Q here. Delta Q is Q sine theta by 2. Of course, I told you d theta is there. Right, from the triangle COP, look at the triangle COP. Go back and see. COP is the triangle where the three sides are. One is capital R, one is small r, another one is X. So in this triangle COP, from the geometry of the figure, for any triangle for that matter, I can write it as x square plus equals to r square plus x square minus 2rr cos theta. This is an equation which I can write it for any triangle for that matter. Okay, so x square is equal to r square plus x square minus 2rr cos theta. You should remember this. Okay, right. After writing an x square equation, let us differentiate this. If I differentiate this, the left hand side becomes 2x dx. R square is a constant, leave it off. And what happens to this x here? Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll come to that. Yeah, from the triangle COP, the equation which I have written is little wrong, but please make the correction out there. So x square is equal to r square plus small r square. This has to be small r square instead of x square in the right hand side. R square plus r square minus 2rr cos theta. If I differentiate this, left hand side becomes 2x dx, which is equal to the right hand side is 2rr sin theta d theta, because cos theta differentiation is minus sin theta, and minus into minus becomes plus. But first two quantities in the right hand, first two terms in the right hand side, r square plus r square, it becomes 0, because those two are constants, you cannot differentiate it. Alright, now if I go for sin theta d theta, let us cross multiply the things and 2 will get cancelled. So it is x dx divided by r into r. This is what sin theta into d theta. After that, I am going to substitute this sin theta d theta in the equation of potential delta V, which is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q. Instead of sin theta d theta, I am substituting x dx divided by 2r into r. So dx, you should make the correction here also. You should write dx for this. Equation number 1. Now I got the equation for potential at some point P due to the charge on the annular ring which I have considered, and that annular ring is ABCD. Okay, right. Now after finding the potential due to annular ring, now I'll extend this case to a whole sphere. Now I am extending this case to a whole sphere. Now I am integrating this. So if I integrate this between the limits minus r to plus r, I am considering a whole sphere. Now how I am choosing the limit of integration? From one end of the sphere to other end of the sphere. Okay, so if suppose this end is minus r, from the center it is minus r, and the other end will be plus r. So it is enough if you differentiate from minus r to plus r, you are covering entire sphere. Okay, right. So I have to differentiate from minus r to plus r to cover entire sphere. So 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q by 2r into r, I am integrating only x. Okay, right. So it is x dx. So what the limit which I am integrating, it is minus r to plus r. Next, the potential is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q by 2r r into 2r. This is what I am getting from this 2r. Yeah, okay. Now the potential, the 2 will get cancels. The potential V naught is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q by r, that is equation number 2. So I got the potential at some point P due to the charge on the sphere. Okay. Now how I have calculated? I have first take the annular ring and I have calculated the potential due to the charge on the annular ring, and I extended that case to a sphere. Fine, it is done. Now the potential due to a sphere is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught into q divided by r. Fine. Now what I am going to do is, this is the second case which I am discussing. Now I am looking for the potential inside a charged sphere. Now again I have a charged sphere of a radius capital R. Okay. And this charged sphere will have a net charge Q, and these charges are uniformly distributed throughout it. So therefore the charge density rho is what the charge per unit, which is not defined here. So charge density is of course the charge per unit area. Okay, so I have considered a charged sphere of radius capital R, and I have considered the point P inside a charged sphere this time, not outside. Outside was the earlier case. Now at this time I have considered the point P to be inside a charged sphere of radius capital R. Now I know that the electric field due to a solid sphere, which I have already derived from the Gauss law, which I derived that the electric field is q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r by r cube if this radius is, if the distance of consideration is less than or equal to capital R, and E is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square if r is very much greater than this r. Okay. Alright. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to substitute the electric field equation in this, so to get the potential. So potential V is equal to minus integral of infinity to r E dot dl, because the potential is what defined like this. It is the force experienced by unit charge in bringing the charge from it's a work done in bringing the charge from infinity to that point in an electric field. I am bringing a charge from infinity to the point P, which is distance r from the center of the sphere. So I have to take from infinity to r. So E dot dl. So E, I know I am substituting E as q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Okay, so minus integral of infinity to r. Now I am splitting this time I am splitting the integration. What I am going to do is, I am splitting the integral from infinity to r and then r to r. I am splitting the integral from infinity to r as infinity to capital R and from capital R to this r. Now what makes the difference here? If I split this, I have to use two different equations here. So one equation is q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square for the integral infinity to r, and other equation is qr by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube for the integral capital R to small r. So two different equations for the electric field for two different integrals. Right, I have substituted that. Now what I'll do is, I will integrate. So constants, I'll take it outside. It is minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught. I take r square, I don't know. So it's integral of infinity to r 1 by r square dr plus integral of r to r divided by r cube. So that r square which is written outside the bracket is not there. You please delete it. Okay, 1 by r square differentiation is 1 by r, minus 1 by r in fact. And if I applied the limit, I can apply only upper limit. So because if I apply lower limit, it will be 0. So it is minus 1 by r plus other integral. Okay, so if I do the integration, it is r square by 2. Integral of small letter r is r square by 2, where this capital letter r cube is a constant. You can write outside a bracket again. 1 by r cube you are writing outside the bracket. So r integration is r square by 2. Apply the limit r square minus capital R square by 2. Okay, simple integration. I have applied the two limits. After that, let me do some simplification over here. Now minus, within the bracket it's minus 1 by r plus r square by 2r cube minus r square by 2r cube. That r square will get cancelled with this r square. I left with minus 1 by 2r. Alright, so this is equal to minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught. I will take an LCM, one for minus 1 by r and minus 1 by 2r. It will be 2r. Okay, so if I do summing, then I will get minus 3 by 2r plus r square by 2r cube. The equation getting simpler and simpler. Now after that, I'll take 1 by 2r as a common factor. Again I left with a bracket 3 minus r square by r. So finally, if I all multiply these numericals, I will get minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught r into 3 minus r square by r square. This is the equation for the potential which I got for a point which I have considered inside a charged sphere. Now the two different tricks I have been using. So here what I am doing is I am going to take the help of electric field, which I have already derived using the Gauss law. So that electric field I am applying here and I am going to find the potential. So electric field will be different for two different cases. So therefore, for two different integrals, I have two different equations of electric field, and that I am substituting, and after that it will be a simple integration and just numerical rearrangement and just simple simplification of those equations will give us the potential due to the potential at some point P inside a charged sphere. Okay, right, these are some of the books which I have referred. Okay, you please go through these books, practice the derivations once or twice. It will be very easy. Thank you so much.